Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make this Christmas wreath cake. And this is a collaboration video with Rosie Cake Diva, showing you how to make these amazing cupcake Christmas wreath cakes. So do check her out after this video. To begin, I've got my 10-inch cake here and I'm just scoring a line around the outside. That way as I saw my knife through the cake, I have a guide to keep it nice and level. I do the same thing when I'm cutting through half of the cake. I'm rotating my cake and my turntable as I saw through. Add a bit of buttercream onto your 12-inch cake board, adding it around the sides, not so much the middle because we're taking out the middle. Then put a nice healthy dollop of frosting into the center of the cake. Guide it out to the sides, make sure it's nice and flat so that your cake remains even when you add on your second layer. Then I'm going to take my spatula and push all that excess frosting up against the cake. I'm going to create a bit of a crumb coat up top as well. And that'll just catch all the loose crumbs and stick it to the cake. That way we don't get any crumbs in our final layer of frosting. Once it's all covered, bring that extra lip of frosting to the middle of the cake. Just like so. Then I've got a 5-inch cake tin here that I've put directly in the middle. I'm starting to press down, kind of rotating a little bit just to ease it through. And once you reach the very bottom, give it a good twist. And then gently raise that cake tin and remove the center of your cake. For the next step, I'm going to cut away the edges just to make it a lot more rounded and wreath-like. Cutting around the inside and also around the outside of the cake. Just taking away those sharp corners, really. And I'm taking some green buttercream and going over a second crumb coat. That way when you pipe onto your cake, if there's any spaces that you can see in between, you'll see to a green cake so it'll all blend in. That's going over the outside, and make sure to put some along the inside as well. And using this is the front cover of a portfolio, and it works really well as a cake smoother when you want to create really rounded sort of edges. So I use that to scrape off any excess. Then I'm using a grass tip, adding some green frosting and a little bit of some yellow frosting, kind of 1.5 teaspoons each time. Squeeze out to make sure that both colors are showing through, and then start piping onto your cake. So I'm pressing the piping onto the cake, making sure it sticks there, and then pulling away. And you'll want to do this around the whole of your cake. So this is a very time-consuming process, but it definitely is worth it. It looks really effective at the end. You might find that you need to keep adding more frosting as you go. And once you reach the middle of the cake, I'll start working on the inside of the cake and working my way back up to the middle. That way you have the piping going in 2 different directions. I think it looks a lot more realistic that way. And cover the seam. And the hard bit's done. Next we have a piping bag, just folding it in half and then cutting it at an angle to create a inward pointing triangle. And that's going to create a bit of a leaf sort of texture, leaf shape. So I've got some parchment paper / non-stick baking paper on my flower nail, and I'm piping on 5 petals. You could also do a 6-petal flower, and I personally found that looked a lot nicer. I really enjoyed the 6th petal. Then once you've piped those, place it onto a baking tray. And before we put them into the freezer to set, I'm going to add some little buds. I'm using some yellow buttercream frosting for this, and I have the buttercream recipe in the description box below, or a link to the recipe. And then to place them onto your cake, just use a bit of that frosting to glue them on. And they've been sitting in the freezer for at least 20 minutes, so they're very easy to handle with your hands, and they won't crack or anything. And I've used the same bag, just washed it out and added a new color of frosting and to pipe on the leaves. Now for the second part is the cake pops. So I've got the rest of that cake that was in the 5-inch tin, placed it into a bowl, added in some buttercream frosting, and just scrunching it up in my hands, kneading it through until you have a soft, kind of doughy consistency that sticks together. Doesn't need to be too soft, just needs to clump together. So I've added a little bit of frosting because it was a little bit dry still. If you can roll it into a ball and it sticks together and looks neat, that's usually the consistency you're looking for. Roll those into differently sized bowls. And then place them in the freezer just to harden up a little bit, maybe for 10 minutes. And then take a cake pop stick, dip it into some white chocolate, and straight into your cake pop. Once that's set, dip your cake pop in the white chocolate, make sure it's completely submerged, and then start tapping off all the excess. And continue this with all of your cake pops. Place into a styrofoam just to set. Then I've got some vegetable shortening, and I'm placing it all over the top of the cake pop, just smearing it all over. Then I'm using a large blush brush and some edible gold dust and dusting it over the top, and that sticks to the shortening. You could use this regular kind of luster dust, or you could use the mica powders. This is like edible glitter and it's just gorgeous. It's by Creative Cake Decorating. Then once you're done, pop those little balls off of their sticks and we can use those as baubles for your cake. Place them on with a little bit of that red frosting just to help it to stick. And then as extra details, I've got some candy coated little chocolate balls in white and a really pretty kind of aqua color / blue. It looked really pretty, especially against the red, just really contrasts nicely. And for the very last decoration, we're making our bow. So I've got a very large kind of long rectangle that I've cut out and split into two. Cutting out a thin piece of yellow fondant that I've coloured with Americolor Gold Gel Food Colour. Sticking it over the top, cutting off the excess, and then folding it to create that bow sort of shape there. Then cut off a rectangle to fit around the middle of your bow. That'll close it all off. And fondant will stick with water, so just add a little bit of water into the back. And that'll secure on nicely. Then with some red frosting, adhere it onto your cake wherever you see fit. And then lucky last, we'll make the arms of our bow. So I've done the exact same thing, only I've cut out triangles in the end of each, folded in the middle, then folded it again on both sides to create that bow looking shape. Then to give the cake a bit more movement, or to give the bow more movement, sort of folded it as if there was a lot of shape to it. And then adhere it onto the cake with some frosting again. And you're done! And that's how you make a Christmas wreath cake. This is a lot easier than it looks, so I really hope you guys give it a try for this Christmas. Don't forget to check out Rosie Cake Diva's awesome cupcake tutorial on how to make a cupcake Christmas wreath. That'll be in the link below this video, or you can click on the video just in this section here and it'll take you straight there. Thanks again guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. And if you like, you can subscribe to my channel. I upload a new video every Tuesday and Saturday.